Welcome one and all to the Decisions Lunch and Learn. My name is Josh. Happy to have you with us. So we'll wait here for a couple minutes, see if anyone else joins us, and we'll go ahead and get started. I don't have any pre-submitted questions right now, but yeah, I'm just gonna kind of share my screen and just build something I've been thinking about building that'll be helpful for myself. So we'll give everyone else a couple minutes, all right? Also, if you have any questions already, you can go ahead and ask them in the question and answer section, and I will get to them in the order in which they were submitted. All right, so it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, go ahead and submit some questions if you have them. If not, I'll just build. And you guys have any questions on what I'm building, feel free to kind of let me know. So as some of you may have missed, my name is Josh. I've been working at Decisions for about 3.5 years. And so what I like to build in my spare time is just stuff that can just help me in my everyday life. Today, I'm going to be building, so I'm getting married in October, and I never realized how many addresses you have to keep when you're getting married. You have to send out the save the dates, you have to send out the invites, and then you also have to send out the thank you notes. So I'd rather not store those in my text messages if at all costs. So I'm going to go under my folder here called junk projects. Do not tell my fiance that I put our wedding address stuff in junk projects. I don't want her to get the wrong idea, but I'm just going to come in here and just start creating. So first thing I need, I kind of want to define my my type in here and figure out what I need. So it's a relatively low structure. I'm just going to make it database structure because I really don't need it to be stored in the portal or anything. These aren't going to have states or anything in that matter. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say family person invite, because it could be a family or a person typically. So I'm going to make it display name, because I don't want to address a family as specific. Like if I'm sending to Jack Johnson, I want it to send it to the Johnson family, not Jack Johnson specifically. So this will just make it a little easier. How many with this invite? So same thing. If I'm inviting a family, I don't want to just put one person. I don't want to send one invite to one person. I want to send to 5 people if I'm inviting all kids. Okay, so I'm going to do address 1, address 2, state. Yep, that's straight. State. A zip code. Froze up on me. Let's see if I can go to this. I'll reduplicate my tab. I have been having internet issues all morning, so let me know if something is broken. Oh, okay, we'll just exit those pages. I'll just go back to it, I guess. All right, going back to innovation test. Sorry, it seems I am having some difficulties with my internet right now, so that's not good. We'll try one more time. Oh, there we go. Okay. Cool. Now, that was another project I was working on. Back to my type, I'll probably have to create it again. Let's see, let's go back under my junk projects into my wedding and go ahead and create my type again. Back to a simple database structure. Family person invite. Display name. How many with this invite? Integer. Address 1. Address 2. City. State. Zip code. And me and my fiance are splitting it between the two people. Between me and her, I'm invite. So we're allowed 150 people. I want to keep track on who invited who, just so I can make sure she doesn't steal any of my people. So address 1, city, state, zip code, who invited. I'm actually going to put a state string on here because I've found that people can be kind of flip-floppish, and I want to know if I sent them things and stuff like that. So I'm going to put a state string on here as well. I'm going to make this address state actually, and I'm going to make this entity state. Make sure I am good. So all right, cool. I'm going to save that. All right, we're going to have some code compile issues because this is a testing server that I'm working on. So I'll go ahead and just duplicate my tab so I can keep going. I'm going to go to create flow. I'm going to create a new flow, just a regular one. Create, or not create, I'm going to do add family person. And if anyone does have a question, please don't, feel free to stop me. I'm just creating this for my own sanity at this point. So if anyone else has any kind of questions, feel free to ask. At this point, I'm just doing what I got to do. So I'm going to make a form in here really quickly. If it loads, maybe some Wi-Fi connectivity issues still. We'll see. We're still code compiling. Now, this is just for me personally, so I'm not going to make this look too well. Pick a create form. I'm going to create a new form. Now I'm going to make this create/edit because I know I'm going to have to edit one anyways. So, okay, Muriel, seems like you have a question. If I have a case entity/transaction where one instance may have two different processes, part manual, part automated, the client has requested that we display these as two different items on a report. I know it's a bad idea to create a duplicate case entity for something that will show up on a report. What are my other options? So, Muriel, you are trying to distinguish between two specific types of case entities where they are the same entity?
So these are transactions. These are monetary transactions. They come in. So the specific case that I have is something that's recurring.
Mm-hmm.
So the recurring part will go to an automated process that'll run in batch. That's fine. But they sent it too late, and the first payment needs to go out before the automated process can start.
Okay.
So they need to manually enter that. Mm-hmm. Now they have requested that there's a completed items report, and they've requested that it shows up twice, once for the manual item and once for the case entity automated process. The case entity automated process will be created through the process, through the flows that we've created. The second one, where they print something off and actually go enter it manually, obviously doesn't, because they entered it manually.
Mm-hmm.
And only one transaction came in, even though they're going to wind up with two transactions.
Okay. And you're trying to figure out how to show both of them on a report.
Correct. I know
one that was automated.
Could put in a duplicate case, but that seems both wasteful and inaccurate from an auditing perspective. So I want to know.
Yeah, you're right. That does seem wasteful and inaccurate. What I would put I would encourage you to make two different reports, right? Because at the end of the day, they're two different things. Whether they are the same object, they are actually two different things. The process that was automated and the one that was not automated. I would recommend having two different reports displayed on your page on your dashboard, showing the different values and showing the different pieces of information. That way, there's a clean difference between the two. That would be my best bet.
Unfortunately, that doesn't. So what they're doing is they're taking this completed items report and they're using it to reconcile to their books and records. So on the books and records side, there will be two, but on the decision side, there will only be one. So they want the same report to show two items to match the two transactions that will show up on the books and records side.
Okay. And so the case entity is the process of your transaction, right? But then the transaction might be something completely separate, right?
No, actually they are one. The case entity gets marked completed, and then that's what shows up on the.
Yeah, so programmatic. So what you have right now, you have a case entity that is one thing, and you have a transaction which is the case entity, right?
Correct. But in this case, they also print off another piece of paper, turn around, key it in.
So is it fair to say that you might have two transactions per case entity?
It's very rare, but in this case, that's what winds up happening is there are two end transactions, not in decisions. In decisions, there's only one, but in the back end books and records system, there are two.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, you might want to segment that out in your data, right? Like sometimes I've seen cases where like, okay, we have the case entity, which is tracking the progress of your workflow, right? The case entity is just tracking the process. That's it. And then you have this idea of transaction data, and transaction could be completely different from the process. Like your transaction doesn't have to be a process. It can just be an entity that lives inside of your process. That way you can adjust to having multiple transactions per case, If you segment them out and split it up, say the case is going to be one thing, but then the transactions are going to be two, then on your report, you can show transactions and not just cases.
Okay, so I think so. So this is already in production, so I don't know how to do that.
This is already in production. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that first. It's already in production the way it is. So I need to find a way to just duplicate the one thing, which may happen once every 6 months. I don't know why they care about it this much, but there you go. They do. So
fair enough. Yeah. So, okay. I mean, let's look into making something smaller, right? I mean, you can do this on a smaller scale, right? Like every time you create a case, create a tiny object called transaction, right? And then for this case, create two, and they can just be like related to your case entity. They don't have to be like, you can just not show your case entity. You only have to show like the transaction piece. Just mimic that information, make it smaller, make it a little flatter. That might be your best bet. What I would recommend is honestly, put in a support ticket and let's talk through your architecture, and we can figure out the best way to get this done, because this is something new and you are in production. I would hate for our discussion to affect your production environment. So
fair enough.
That is the best option there. This is just to take this, cast a broader net of intelligence so we can get this fixed the best way possible.
Okay.
So, if you want to submit a support ticket, just, support@decisions.com, just send them an email, describe your issue, same way you described it there. If you want to CC me on that, you're more than happy to, and I'll just find it and I'll work with the support team on helping you work through that architecture. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
My email is josh@decisions.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Or if not, we can go back to my my wedding planning. Okay. All right. We'll go back. So so I just want to do family person name. Let's see. Family person name. Nope, I need a button. So we'll put a button out here. That button just do complete. And so I'm going to recognize that that's family person name. I'm not going to label it just because this is mine. I'm going to put address 1. Address 2. City. Oh, I want to do a drop down for states. String input. I'm just going to make this static for now, but I'm going to want to change it. I'm going to put VA, California. That's all I'm going to add for now. Add some more grids. And then my last text box is going to be zip code. So zip code, perfect. Okay, cool. And every one of those looks like it's probably required. Hope. Yep, required. Required. Perfect. Okay. It defaults this to selected every time you put a drop down. Just I would try to be very specific about it. So I typically put selected and then the item I want. So if I want selected address state, I'm just going to save that off. Okay, and let's close that. Go to my, go down here, user defined types. Go to my database structures and go to my, gosh, what did I name that? Family person invite. Family person invite, and let's just create. Oh, looks like it did not show up. I'm just gonna save, close out of this. Oh man, took my whole form. That's perfectly fine. Create form. Oh, let's save and close that as well. Sabrina, do you think can you write something down so where we can go in, test this out, maybe put in a dev ticket if we can reproduce this behavior? Recent family person invite. Perfect. Straight to my create step. I got nothing else needs to go. So I'm just gonna build data on this. And I'm just gonna map everything. Zip code. Selected address, state, city. Address 2. Address 1. Display name. And entity state's going to be constant. Perfectly fine, created. Okay. Oh, I forgot how many people. So the label is going to come in handy. I don't know why. It's so weird not adding them. Cool. I'm going to go in. I'm going to make a number box. How many people? Nope. I'll put it as a decimal and then hit save. Okay. Sweet. So close out this. People done. Okay. And let's create our first person. Oh man. Okay. I'm going to invite Britney Spears. Britney Spears family. I'm going to invite them all. So they have 5. Address 123. Canopy Drive. I should probably live in an apartment. Probably San Diego, honestly. I think that's where all people who are cool live, right? Not me. There's a goat is 12121. That's her actual address, by the way, if anyone's interested. Complete. All right, now my first person is created. So cool. So now that my first person is created, I'm gonna go ahead and save this flow. And then I'm just gonna create a report to kind of show all my information. All people. Add my data source. Family person invite. I don't need to know everything about them. I would just like to know entity state. How many with these invites? So they invited 3 people. Perfect. Cool. Let me go ahead and save that. Save. Close. And okay, so I'm going to add a configuration folder to this. Go to advanced. It should be add actions. Maybe it went away for this structure. Okay, no matter. Create a form. So we're going to create a page dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and put my report on there. Pick my default report that I just made, all people. And I'm just going to put a nice little label, probably as small as can be. My wedding dashboard. Just going to save that. Cool. All right. Now save that, close. And go ahead and create a new folder. So I'm going to go to all, create folder. I just need a regular folder. I need it to be gosh, does War Room have, oh, I guess it's two words. Wedding War Room. Okay, cool. Refresh Wedding War Room, awesome. Manage page dashboard, add page dashboard. Let's pick my page. Save. Cool. So now we have my wedding dashboard here. You see we got Britney Spears. She's invited. Of course, she's going to show up. So we'll prepare for her family of 3. And now it's all good. So I'm going to add a couple more just to make this example just a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to go here back to my create people. I'm just going to go to my page. Actually, I'm just going to put this on a button on my dashboard. Let's add a grid. I always keep the standard 121 just for rows. I don't know why my buttons always look better that way. Well, actually, row is 30. Column is 120. Always forget. Okay, and now we'll just type flow. Run flow. Create flow, pick existing, add family person. Perfect. I want it to be a button. Invite person. Save that and get ourselves ready to go. So I'll close this out, go back to my wedding war room. And I'm going to invite, I've been really into Jack Johnson music now, so I'm going to use Jack Johnson and the band. I don't want to leave them out. Address 1, they live on the same street, actually, except it's not Drive, it's Avenue. Now they don't have an apartment. Actually, yeah, they do. They do have an apartment, but it's 201. They're on the second floor. City. Oh man, Los Angeles. Oh, I'm just gonna put LA. It's probably good. California as well. Actually, we'll go Richmond, Virginia, just to mix it up. Probably from there. And then 234, 54. They have a big band. They're gonna invite 8. Go ahead and complete that. So now we have Jack Johnson in the band. We have Britney Spears. This is great. We're gonna keep inviting these people, and maybe they'll send us a gift. Maybe they'll check our wish list on Amazon, buy it for us. So yeah, one of the best things about this right here is like storing all this data in my database, because I can easily access it. And so let's say my mother-in-law wants to do us a huge favor and send all of our invitations for us. I'm going to make a report that I can just send to her, and she can maybe do it herself. Send invitation report. I need to put family person invite as well. And now I can do display name, address 1, address 2, city, state, zip code. Perfect. So now it's everything they need to know to write, to send out an invite, to send out, save the date, to send out all that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to save this. That's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to close this. And now I have my send invitation report. I'm just going to run this report. Now that it's ran, I can do, I can download and send report. So I'm just going to download it, and we'll look. So I need Excel format, perfectly fine, data, proceed. So here's my report. Nope, I don't have Excel on this. Nope. Oh my gosh, freaking out. Okay. Oh man, started so many tabs. Okay, well, yeah. So I downloaded that report, and now I can go ahead and look at it, and just one email away to be able to send it to whoever needs it, to do that stuff for me. So yeah, here's just a really quick way that you can take a piece of your life that you're kind of requires a lot of attention. You can put it in decisions that can help you out in your day-to-day job. Of course, this is in no way useful for a company, unless your company is maybe getting married to another company. But either way, you can, if you have a local host, build something like this that you can use, and all this data, let's say decisions crashes and you're using it for multiple things, all this data is still in your database. So it's useful just for collecting data, and like just collecting data anyways. Let's say like somehow my my instance crashed, but I can still access my database. I would still have all of this information, just not in the visual format that I used to have it. The UI would be gone, but what I would have right now is just everything about this. So I'm going to pause right there and have, does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask about this specific build, or just something about your own building? Don't be shy. Does anyone have any maybe use cases they can think in their own life where they would like to use decisions to maybe solve a problem. For example, okay, we got a question. Perfect. If time permits, I'm here to ask best practice question around emailing and alerting. Absolutely, John. What are your kind of questions around that?
Hey, so right now we have a pretty decent kind of just like error exception flows, et cetera, so we can get alerted to any of the automated builds, et cetera, we built or flows we built so far.
Yeah.
And we just recently, we're in one of our divisions is telephony, so we get a lot of these CDR, like phone records.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to ship them off to a billing remediation. So we're basically shipping just tons of files, right? And my concern, well, here's what I'm, I guess, looking for is right now, if there's an exception, let's say the MySQL database we're writing, kind of we have a state machine that we're kind of watching, okay, this file is processed, it wasn't, there was an error, whatever, so it needs to be reprocessed, et cetera. If there's an exception to that, this thing is going to literally send us just a gazillion emails. So I was looking for, we could create another database to kind of track that, but I was looking for in decisions, is there anything built in, or is there like a best practice for lack of a better definition, I want to throttle this so that if it's sent, 5 error emails, it just kind of slows down for a while and lets us actually go address whatever the error probably is and then kind of turn it all back on.
So you want like almost a maintenance mode?
Yeah, where it's like, okay, stop the flow, like, the flow should just stop until like something's broke, right?
Yeah.
To stop the machines. And I like, one of the things, like we use mapping variables inside of flows, that's straightforward enough. But like, I was wondering if there's like a global value we could set. Like, is there anything, again, like we can kind of track at a higher level without us building out a whole nother kind of system to track this? That's the question. Does it make sense?
So yes, that makes sense. So you'd like to, like, if there was an issue, you would like to just stop the workflow, be able to, put it in kind of a maintenance mode where you are going in and affecting things and stuff like that. That's perfectly fine. What I would recommend is not putting it on a global level. I would almost put it on a project level. Like, so, if something happens with this project, with this exact flow, let's flip a switch so we can affect it and change it and then go in and manually start it again, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I've toyed around with this idea a couple times with a couple different projects, but what I really recommend here is using, I call it a project settings entity, right? In that project settings entity, it's going to store all the kind of information you need about this project, right? And with that you can store a on and off switch, like a kill switch on it, right? And say, as soon as something happens, flick the switch off, and then at the beginning of your flow, check to see if that switch is off and kill it, right?
Clear.
And so error happens, flick the switch off, then your flow will know I can't run anymore because this switch is flicked, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, that's what I would recommend. Put it at a project level, make like a project constant kind of structure that guards your project and, use it to kind of make decisions for you, if that makes sense.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it on a high level, I guess. What is that actual data element to do? And is that something that we can then change by flow? Because again, what I want to do is I want to basically have
what I would do.
Yeah,
what I would do is make an entity, like a physical entity in decisions, like create data types and integrations, make an entity, and make one row of that entity. And that entity is accessible via the portal, so that you can kind of turn it off and turn it back on perfectly fine. But then as soon as you hit an error, update it in the database, say this is no longer a working flow.
Okay, got it. That's exactly what you're. So when I call state machine, that's basically it, right? It's the state of that project. We can pass that stuff back and forth, and then decisions will manage that entity for us.
Exactly. Yeah. And
just for my own pure interest, that all gets stored in the decisions SQL database.
Yep, it would.
When they're created. Okay.
It would also be, but the reason I say an entity is because you can affect it in the portal. So that it lives in outside of the flow. So you don't have to, edit a flow to be able to change that on and off switch, you would
Yeah,
just
yeah,
edit
yeah.
in the portal.
I got that. Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And well, and the last question is, we can manipulate that inside of flow, yes?
You can, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we can just, again, if there's an error count over a period of time, we can, in essence, flip that switch automatically.
Yep, exactly.
And then we can come back to your point. We come back, we fix, oh, SQL, my
turn
SQL's
it back
down.
on.
We fix that. We go in the portal, we flip it back to on, and it goes back to working.
Exactly.
Brilliant. All right, that was exactly. And then one other question, and it kind of is sort of similar, but like, what do you guys recommend, or what's your experience been with like message queuing or whatever, when there are times where we need to send a fair amount of messages? We have another project that's going to be like that. Basically, it's like a data warehouse project. You guys have any recommendations, like just use Kafka or RabbitMQ and tie it into decisions and call it a day, or is there something?
That's what I would do. I would pick a messaging queue that you like, or a messaging queue that you currently use, and just there's modules and decisions to affect those messaging queues.
Yeah, I've seen
that's
both.
Something you can definitely work through with support as well, on kind of like how to set that up the best way possible.
Yeah.
I recommend, if you start off on this project, wrap in some developers, rope in some support people, and help them, or allow them to talk you through some of those issues, and that'll mitigate some issues down the road if we're kind of aware. So
perfect. Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. Any other questions? If not, we might go ahead and end it early.
Oh, perfect timing by me.
Awesome. Well, okay, everybody, thanks for attending the Lunch and Learn. If you have any questions that you'd like, oh, Josh, seems like you have a question. Raising your hand.
Yeah, hi. If I'm a top level administrator in my decisions instance, and I have other users that are creating projects, is there an easy way I can get access to the projects that they're working on, or do they have to like still explicitly share them with me?
So you're saying there are people in decisions that are creating projects, but you're an admin user and you can't see them?
I don't think I can. I'm not entirely positive.
If you're an administrator on the server, you should see everything.
Okay.
Yeah, you should see absolutely everything. It's just like they might be hiding it from you in a folder tree or something. But
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Have them send like a flow ID or something to you so you can look into it. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you should be able to see absolutely everything as an administrator.
Okay. Great. Okay. Thanks.
No problem. And if you are having issues, let us know.
I will.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else? All right, then that concludes the Lunch and Learn. Again, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know in support if you need any help. Happy to assist in any manner. So thanks to all.